So since the Final Fantasy Marathon is still in production, I figured I should give a review of a Final Fantasy game. I asked some friends of mine to choose which game in the series I should review first, with the majority saying I should review Final Fantasy IX. And I don't blame them. In my opinion, I prefer Final Fantasy IX over Final Fantasy VII. I mean, 6 is still my favorite, but 9 is very close to taking that spot. So without further ado, let's discuss why Final Fantasy IX is considered a fantastic gem. The game opens with a cutscene of two people on a boat during a stormy night when a wave comes close to the youngest girl and... oh, it's a dream. Oh, that was interesting. After this we see a kid with a monkey-like tail moving around on a ship named the Prima Vista. This is Zidane Tribal, a theater performer with the Tantalus group along with members Senna, Margus, and Blank. Suddenly a man with a dragon head bursts in and you're thrusted into battle. After his defeat, the head comes off and is revealed this is the leader of Tantalus named Baku. Turns out the Tantalus is not a theater group, rather they're a group of thieves disguised as a theater group. They're hired to go kidnap the Princess of Alexandria, Garnet to Alexandros XVII, on her 16th birthday during the performance of the play I Want to Be Your Canary. In Alexandria, we meet a top-hatted young boy who goes to visit the play but finds out his ticket was fake. With the help of a creature named Puck, the boy sneaks in to watch the theater with his name being Vivi or Nidir. It's also here when we meet Queen Braun, the Queen of Alexandria, Beatrix, the General of the Queen's Army, and Adalbert Steiner, the Captain of the Knights of Pluto. During the play, Zidane and Blank sneak into the castle wearing Knights of Pluto armor, and they come across a girl wearing a white robe. However, the girl flees with Zidane and Blank, realizing it was the princess with the two chasing her. These jesters named Zorn and Thorn then discover that Garnet has disappeared, with Steiner going to look for her. Upon escaping onto the Prima Vista, Garnet reveals that she wants to be kidnapped to escape her psychotic mother, seeing as she's been acting strange. Zidane agrees, and during the scuffle with Steiner, the three accidentally end up on the play with Garnet improvising by acting. Vivi ends up being chased by guards and cornered on stage. When he threatens them with fire magic, he accidentally lights the robe covering Garnet with her true identity being revealed. After the Prima Vista attempts to make an escape, Queen Braun fires a bomb at the ship, causing it to blow up. However, the ship, despite dealing heavy damage, stays intact with Tantalus, Garnet, Steiner, and Vivi leaving unscathed. However, due to the mist, the Prima Vista makes a crash landing in the evil forest. Tantalus finds out that Garnet is nowhere to be found, guessing she was either crushed or thrown off the ship. Zidane goes out into the forest to find her along with Vivi and Steiner. After saving her from the plane brain with the help of Blank, they notice the forest is coming alive and starting to petrify, so they leave quickly. However, Blank stays with the forest and gets petrified with it. Zidane tells Garnet once she wakes up that he will take her to Limblum. The party make their way to the ice cavern, meet a creature similar to Vivi named Black Waltz No. 1. After Zidane defeats it along with the creature named the Sea Lion, Zidane suggests to Garnet to go under an alias. Garnet decides to go with the name Dagger, after Zidane's weapon, and they make their way to the village Dali. Upon arriving, Steiner tries to find ways to get Garnet back to Alexandria, finding out about an airship route, while Zidane and Garnet go to rescue Vivi after he was kidnapped. It's here where they discover creatures similar to Vivi are being mass-produced by the numbers, with Vivi shaking in horror, wondering if he is one of them. After Steiner helps him out of one of the boxes the creatures are being shipped in, the second Black Waltz shows up and fights the party. After its defeat, the party makes way for Limblum. However, the third Black Waltz shows up and fights Zidane, Vivi, and Steiner on the airship. After narrowly escaping, the two dock in Limblum and meet Regent Sid, Garnet's uncle. It's here we also meet Zidane's friend Freya Crescent, the Dragonite of the Burmesian race, which is a race of anthropomorphic rats. Zidane also overhears Garnet singing a song, and when asked about it, she replies that she uses it to remind her that everything will be alright. During their time in Limblum, Zidane, Vivi, and Freya participate in the Festival of the Hunt, an event where they let monsters loose in the town and allow participants to kill them. After the event is over, Sid hears that Braun is making her way to Burmecia, Freya's hometown. Zidane and Vivi offer to help Freya defend the town, but when Garnet offers to help, Sid refuses, and Garnet puts sleeping weed in the festival feast except for Steiner's food. Garnet then asks Steiner to help her escape back to Alexandria. When they come to, Zidane, Vivi, and Freya make their way to Burmecia, stopping at Q's Marsh and recruiting someone by the name of Kina Ken. Upon arriving, they find Burmecia abandoned and ruined by the assault. Upon reaching the city's heights, they discover the Queen, Beatrix, and a strange man only named Kuja. After trying to battle Beatrix with the party being defeated, Braun makes her way for Clara next. After Steiner and Garnet head through the south gate, they come across Marcus, who is looking for an item called the Super Soft to save Blank. Garnet, feeling guilty, offers to help. However, on the way they're forced into battle by a malfunctioning Black Waltz number 3, who somehow survived, and the team make their way to Trino where they meet Dr. Tot, Garnet's old tutor. Dr. Tot gives Marcus a Super Soft and sends Garnet on her way back to Alexandria on a giant spider-like creature named a Gargan. Upon arriving, Braun imprisons Marcus and Steiner and takes Garnet with her. Garnet is then knocked out by Kuja during the talk with Braun. Zidane and his team make their way to Clara, the place the Burmesians evacuated to. Zidane warns them of the upcoming attack, and when they try to strengthen the sandstorm that surrounds the city, the harp used to control it breaks, causing the sandstorm to dissipate. Back in Alexandria, Zorn and Thorn are extracting Eidolons that have been in Garnet's possession, with Braun then using Odin to utterly destroy Clara, with Zidane and his party sneaking onto the Red Rose, the airship used by Alexandria. Steiner and Marcus finally break free from the cage, with Marcus fleeing to the evil forest. After Zidane's team catches up with Steiner, they fight Beatrix, but afterwards, Beatrix realizes that Queen Braun is indeed power-hungry and aids the party's escape while also rescuing Garnet. During the escape on the Gargant, they crash and end up in Pinnacle Rocks, where Garnet meets Ramu, and thus begins to relearn her Eidolons. Braun in the meantime hires assassins after Garnet's pendant to also kill Vivi, named Lonnie and Amarant. After leaving Pinnacle Rocks, the party witnesses in horror as Braun summons the black hole known as the Tomos to destroy Limblu. Upon getting to the castle, Sid explains that the Black Mages are being sent by Kuja using mist from the Mist Continent where Kuja resides. Upon making their way to a nearby marsh, Keen explains that it knows the way to the other side through Falso Rue. Upon arriving, they end up finding Lonnie and continue through the caves. Upon arriving on the Mist Continent, they discover a village full of Black Mage dolls, and the Black Mages reveal that Black Mages have a life expectancy of only a year, and some have already stopped. Poor Vivi questions how much longer he has left. After passing through Conde Petit, they meet a young girl named Aiko Carroll, who is the last of the Summoner tribe. Aiko escorts them to her home in Payday Sadi, where Aiko lives with a group of Mughals, and it's here where plot dump comes in. Long story short, Garnet is not actually the heir to Braun. She is in fact a summoner from Payday Sari like Aiko. However, after the destruction of the village 10 years ago, Garnet washed up in Alexandria, replacing the previous Princess Garnet, who had died not too long ago. So Braun had cut off the horns seen on the summoners and called her Garnet to cover the fact the real one had died. Zidane asks Aiko to open the path to the Ifa tree, the giant tree that contains a mist shroud. Upon arriving and reaching the center of the planet, they encounter the Soul Cage, who explains Mist's true purpose: to stop souls from reaching the center of the planet. All the mist that surrounds the world is the souls of others. After defeating the Soul Cage, the mist fades and the party returns to Payday Sari, where they are ambushed by Lonnie and Amarant. After seeing that Aiko is a similar pendant to Garnet, Lonnie takes Aiko hostage. However, Amarant doesn't like the way she runs things and decides to join Zidane's team. Upon arriving back at the Ifa tree, they find Kuja, who is being attacked by Braun after she declares he's lost use. Kuja retaliates by trapping Bahamut and attacks Braun's army, destroying it. With her dying breath, Braun apologizes for her power-hungry greed and declares Garnet the new queen of Alexandria. After being declared the new queen and reconciling in Alexandria, Garnet is then attacked by Kuja and Bahamut. Aiko and Garnet, using the pendants that they have, end up summoning Alexander to protect Alexandria, with Alexander defeating Bahamut. Kuja, marveled by the power, asks for it to be enslaved too, with a mysterious elderly man deciding to destroy it, destroying a chunk of Alexandria in the process. Traumatized, Garnet goes mute from all the horror around her, and the party takes refuge in Limblu. Sid asks him to find a cure for his body so he can finish the airship, but it ends up turning him into a frog instead. Sid then decides to give him his ship, the Blue Narcissus, to continue their hunt for Kuja. Stopping by the Black Mage village, they discover that Kuja has been tricking the Black Mage dolls by saying he knows ways of extending their lifespan. The party finds out from this that he resides in the Desert Palace, and after making their way in, are captured. Zidane and 3 other party members of your choosing are then told to recover the Galuk Stone from Oilver in order to save the others. Oilver turns out to be an ancient city of the Terrans. After finding the stone, Zidane discovers some writing in the city that he can only understand even though he's never heard of Terra. After playing Red Light Green Light with Sid, he frees the others. Kuja snatches the Galuk Stone as well as Aiko and looks for a stronger Eidolon than Alexander to fight Garland, the elderly man that destroyed Alexandria. Zorn and Thorn, now serving Kuja, attempt to perform the extraction on Aiko despite her being too young. This results in her Moogle buddy Bonk to reveal her summoning powers through trance, a surge of emotions that boosts someone's abilities, and then the gestures are destroyed. After witnessing the power of trance, Kuja decides that he doesn't need an Eidolon, and he somehow enters trance by his own will. He then says that he's going to kill all of the Terrans and absorb their souls to enter permanent trance. Zidane discovers Princess Hilda, Sid's wife, and asks her to turn him back to normal. She accepts, and her and Sid make amends, with him finally finishing the Hildegard 3. Garnet decides to visit her mother's resting place and finally speaks, saying how she's going to make a vow to better herself. She asks Zidane for his dagger and cuts her long hair to show her sign of change. Hilda tells the party of how Kuja hails from Terra and tells them to go to Ispen's castle to grab the elemental mirror and return them to the shrines to open a gateway to Terra. Upon arriving, Zidane discovers creatures similar to him, except these guys act like zombies. Here, they meet a non-mute civilian named Makoto, who tells Zidane that he is a genome, like Kuja, who was supposed to succeed Garland after his death, seeing as Kuja was deemed a failure after he made Kuja an adult and not a child, so he experienced emotional growth. Zidane in horror confronts Garland, with Garland putting him at Pandemonium, a place where the souls of Terrans rest. Despite Zidane's changed personality, they eventually snap out of him and confront Garland, defeating him. Kuja then uses the power of trance to cast Ultima and utterly destroy Terra, with the party and genomes taking refuge in the airship known as the Invincible. Because of Terra's destruction, Mist now surrounds the planet because of the Aether, and after letting the genomes take refuge in the Black Mage village, the party prepares for their final attack. Upon making their way through Memoria in the Crystal World, they confront Kuja in probably the most badass battle in the game. Kuja, after his defeat, casts Ultima to knock the party out. It's here that Zidane and his team wake up on the Hill of Despair, confronting the being known as Necron, a deity who was marveled by Kuja's nihilism. After Necron's defeat, Kuja uses the last of his strength to transport the party to the banks of the Aether Tree. Zidane, however, decides to head back inside the dying Aether Tree as its roots collapse, trapping Zidane and Kuja inside. Sometime later, Tantalus decides to rehost the play for Garnet. It's here we also find out that Vivi's lifespan had ended, but yet he did have sons to leave his legacy. Everyone gathers, including Lonnie. We even find out that Aiko was adopted by Sid and Hilda, and even Beatrix and Steiner became a couple. During the play, the mysterious cloaked figure takes off the cloak to reveal that it's Zidane who escaped the Aether Tree. Garnet, in her joy, rushes and hugs Zidane, and when asked how he made it out, he replies, "By singing our song." Wow, this story is utterly fantastic, especially the betrayals of life and death. I mean, the characters are enjoyable, the environments are engaging, and the different emotions the characters have make them feel probably the most human-like in the entire series. Final Fantasy IX looks gorgeous for a PS1 game. Beautiful atmospheres, lush environments, great character designs, and beautiful battle effects really make this game stick out. But do you think I can mention a Final Fantasy game without mentioning the soundtrack? This soundtrack is phenomenal. There's not a single song that I don't like. From the battle theme, Hunt Chance, Kuja's theme, and especially the Dark Messenger, this soundtrack is kick-ass. Nobuo Uematsu, the composer for the Final Fantasy series, considers this his favorite soundtrack he's composed for, and it's really apparent. If you haven't heard the soundtrack yet, listen to it. Final Fantasy IX, being an RPG, is all about characters and leveling up to get stronger. Each character has different moves to make them stick out from others. Zidane can steal, Vivi can use black magic, Garnet and Aiko can summon, Steiner can use sword arts, Freya can use dragon moves, Kina can use blue magic, and Amarok can throw items. You can give them equipment and accessories better suit their stats and change their weapons for more damage. However, new to Final Fantasy IX is equipment abilities. You see, when you equip things on characters, they can learn abilities to help them in battle. In order to learn them, you have to learn AP by killing enemies. And get them while you can because they are useful. There are two types of abilities, action and support. Action abilities are how you can learn new moves like sword arts and black magic. Support abilities can aid you in battle. It can be things like immunity to status ailments, lower MP costs, or even making leveling up easier. However, your abilities are limited by ability stones. You can't equip too many abilities at once, so you have to plan accordingly. See that red meter at the bottom right? That's your trance meter. When it fills up, you enter trance mode where your abilities change to become stronger. For example, Zidane can use Dyne abilities, Vivi can double cast black magic, and Freya's jump can repeat for a few turns. However, here's the problem I have with trance. Unlike Final Fantasy 7 and 8, you can't hold on to trance for later. Once it fills, it automatically activates. I would rather save my trance for a boss fight than a regular enemy. When you aren't fighting, you're traveling the world map doing side quests, and there's plenty to do. Chocobo Hot and Cold is a simple game where you can use a chocobo to dig up rewards in a small arena, and if you do this minigame enough, you get to fight the super boss of the game, Ozma. We'll get to that in a bit. You can also do the Mognet side quest, which involves delivering letters to other Moogles around the world, which will later give you access to Mognet Central. You can do a jump rope game, which can make your thumbs hurt. You can play a card game called Tetramaster, which can be played with almost any NPC in the game, the stupid frog hunting in the Q's Marshes, the Salazio coin, the foot race in Alexandria, the Friendly Monster side quest, and the recently discovered Nero's Family side quest. In terms of new things in shops, you have the Synthesis shop. If you have 2 items the shopkeeper asks for, you can combine them to make stronger equipment. I really recommend doing it because there is some strong stuff there, especially the Synthesis shop in Moria after defeating Hades, seeing as you can get 10 armor, which is Steiner's strongest armor. There is a lot you can do, which makes this game incredibly fun to play. Despite everything I love in this game, there are some things I don't like in this game. For one, let's discuss Ozma. Ozma is a frustrating battle to deal with, seeing as he is both strong and fast. Bring your A game as you're in for a long fight. Trust me. Secondly, I hate some of these minigames. The jump rope game can die in a fire. If you do 1000 jumps, you can get the King of Jump Rope key item. But my thumbs hurt after the 600 jump. And while Tetramaster is optional, it is required to play in the start of Disc 3. Why would they make something entirely optional suddenly mandatory for that moment? Thirdly, I hate the fact that trance gets used automatically. I would rather save a limit break for boss fights, but instead the game decides to use it. Which sucks if you get your trance meter filled up and then the next turn the battle's over. But despite all these problems, the game is still fantastic. Final Fantasy IX is a perfect game for newbies of the series to get into. There's plenty to do, the battles are fun, the characters are engaging, the graphics are gorgeous, the music is awesome, and the story is phenomenal. I cannot recommend this game enough to those who have never played it. You can either get a PS1 copy, or now you can get the game on mobile devices, or it's on Steam. Get this game. You will love this game. I guarantee it. Final Fantasy IX will be the last of the PS1 Final Fantasy games, but that's an excellent way to go out. And I mean, if this game is the highest rated Final Fantasy game today, you know it's phenomenal. So, I hope you all enjoyed my first review. I'm Payday 35 saying thanks for watching and take care.